traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened to my computer there. It just like restarted. So I had to get everything started again. Fortunately, like I said, everything's super fast here. So it booted right back up. It just, it was really weird, strange. The gremlins, you know, the gremlins. It just happens. All right, so let's start with the euro dollar. So the euro's already starting to pull back a little bit from its two. Now nothing's saved here, so I have to kind of remove everything. So if you look at our drawings yesterday, look for a move up to 112.15 and a reversal. We went up to 112.20. And showed a bit of a reversal, which now, the good news is whether you shorted the euro or not. I know a couple of you guys did. I know, like Matt, he just did this morning, shorted it at 112.10. If you shorted the euro or not, just you know where the line in the sand is, right? I mean, that's the most important thing with the euro dollar. It's like, okay, well, and let me get rid of this one. Wasn't really paying attention to that. We know that above 112.20 it's bullish. That's we call that the bull bear line in the sand. If it's below 112.20 it's bearish. If it gets above 112.20 it's bullish. All right. So resistance 112.20. Okay, that's key. We're still in a bearish bias, and while we're below that 112.20, we will stay that way. Now, if we break above 112.20, we're going to go into a range environment. But for now, 112.20. Now, support obviously is at 111. 111 support for many different reasons. If you Robert said, hey Blake, software memory errors earlier this week and random reboots now. I think you might have a problem with your computer hardware. Might be an idea to get it checked out. Yeah, if I get, Robert, if I have any more issues, I will do that for sure. I will definitely get it checked out. Thank you. And I'm not a computer guru, so I appreciate the feedback. For sure. Okay, so now we know that 111 is huge. Again, you got the 127% extension here. We have the big 618 on a daily and weekly basis. Okay, and we know below that, as this trend line comes up, this channel support that comes up at 111.60 or 110.60, 110.70, depending on how long it takes us to get down there. So we know that 111. Huge support, okay? And really, in my opinion, you have to trade it as a range, and maybe at this point with a bearish bias. So, being short the euro dollar, while it's above 112, it makes sense. We get above 112.20. Makes sense to cover. Maybe even you might get that squeeze that Paul was talking about, maybe up towards 113. But for now, that's key resistance. Okay, and a lot of it's dependent on the ECB. Now the ECB will have its rate decision in 10 minutes, but we're not expecting anything there. It's more, what the press conference reveals in about an hour and a half. Okay, but I actually don't think the ECB is going to be much of a mover today. We may bounce 40 pips, we may sell off 40 pips. We're not going to move a whole lot today. I really don't think so. I may be wrong, but perhaps the ECB springs one on us. All right, let's go over the cable. All right, so here's the pound, and the pound, I'm not sure what to do with it. we talked about the possible flag pattern. I mean, the cable's all over the map, and I think that the pound is a very emotional. Let me just delete everything here. We, we might as well just to kind of get a cleaner look of the cable. The pound is a very emotional currency right now. Everything is very dependent on Brexit, polls, uh, you know, um, and everything else. It's very, very, very very much. Everything's going to be just following what's happening regarding a Brexit, and there's not a whole lot we can do, and especially the polls. There's not a whole lot we can do as a result. Okay, I think the best thing we can do is just kind of wait for you know really really good entry points at certain areas, and just kind of stand aside and let the pound do whatever it's going to do. I don't think there's a lot of rhyme or reason for the moves, and so if you're trying to make technical sense of the pound, I think it's going to be difficult. That's going to be a very difficult task. Oh, I knew it would come here because it hit this, this. The oscillator was diverging, or relative strength was pushing higher, or you try to make decisions like that, and then there's going to be a lot of I think there's going to be a lot more random moves than very technical moves. What I would be doing if I was trading the cable is be looking for a specific confluence of areas to be on the long or short side. Like if you drew this, for example, and that 127% extension matched up with a really strong trend line, that might be a place to be on the long side. But as you can see, it doesn't. So, um, you know, what's the rhyme or reason for us stopping here at 144? Probably not a lot. You know what I mean? Um, I think that if the pound gets a pullback to 143, I think that's the place you want to be on the long side. I mean, look, you got some trend line support, horizontal support coming through here. By the time we get there, 143 is probably going to be great. Just going to trip some stops below the lows for those people, get them out, then you can just turn around and get long. Um, so like a move down to 143, like that. Okay. And then flip side is, a move up to 146. Probably be a nice short. You got horizontal, uh, previous support, current resistance type of moves. A lot of price discrepancy there. Um, Hold on really quick. Stand by. Okay, so there you go. Hey, by the way, let me know. Can you guys hear? Can you guys hear? Do you guys hear a lot of mumbling, talking? Okay, you guys can only hear me. All right, all right. Okay, I just want to make sure that you can hear the TV in the background too. Okay, very good. All right. Yeah, if the TV goes in and out, it's just because the volume control there. Okay, so back to the pound. So I hate to leave you guys with this, but we're looking at maybe 143 to 146. Um, that's what the move is giving us right now. And I don't think there's a whole lot to do. Okay. Um, I don't think there's a whole lot to do here with the cable. I I can mark up closer support and resistance levels. You know, like I can do this. Like 143.80 and 145. Yeah, I'll cover the ECB decision, but this is all minor. Okay, very minor. Don't get too wrapped up in these support and resistance levels with the cable right now. Okay, we are in a range for sure. Let's do the Swissy really quick before this ECB meeting or the ECB the decision. So here's the Swissy, and the Swissy is, believe it or not, it's trying to pull back, and I'm really, really hoping we pull back towards 98 cents. I don't know though. Here, let's stop here for a second. Let's take from these lows. We ain't even getting to a 38% retracement here. That's not even 24% retracement. I'm really thinking, oh wait, hold on, okay. I'm really thinking that any move down here to 98, maybe even 98.50. So this is what this piece said. 98.40 is going to be decent support today. 98.40. And then resistance. $0.99 and $99.50, which is obviously key. And we're just kind of in a range here. All right, let's go over to the euro. Okay. All right. Okay, they leave rates unchanged, as expected. Nothing happening. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, the bigger move is going to be the ECB. You know, obviously the ECB press conference. Okay. All right. Just looking around, see if there's anything else happening. Hold on really quick. Okay. All right, so we got the Swissy. Let's go over to the yen. Now, the yen is a bit of concern. This has been, Probably my bigger concern as a dollar bull predominantly is seeing the euro, excuse me, the yen weak. Now, obviously, with equity markets, under a little bit of pressure, the dollar yen's come under pressure. We hit that 109.10 yesterday, bounced like a bat out of hell, which is great. Um, and but that didn't hold overnight. And the one thing about this dollar yen, let me get rid of this. Hold on really quick. Let me get rid of this too. Get rid of that. We don't, well, we do actually do need that. We don't need that so much. This channel, I think we can remove that now, for now. But one thing that I notice about this dollar yen is this. This thing's about ready to bust a move. You see that? That wedge right there, that wedge looks like we want to okay. So what I'm going to do, let me double check something else. Let's see, we're sitting right at the 38% retracement of that. Let's remove that for a second. That's 127% extension. So if we break lower, which I'm going to make the assumption that we do, 108.20, 161% extension. Hold on. $108.20 is key support here on any dip. Oops, 108.20. Key support. Okay, and what will take the downside pressure off? What's going to take the downside pressure off is right here at 109.30. So if we can break above 109.30, that's going to start to squeeze the dollar yen. Put us back in our range. All right, let's go over the CAD. Simon says the dollar Canadian is rising well, even with crude oil. Not really pulling back much. Yeah, the dollar Canadian actually looks pretty solid. I mean, of course I'm long, so it sounds great when I say that, but it really is. It's holding up very, very well. The dollar Canadian is. I mean, if the dollar Canadian takes out 131.30, that's going to be pretty bullish. That'll take us up to 130, 132. So 131.30. Then let's just imagine we go beyond that. 132 will be resistance. We are in a range. A break below 130.40 would be bearish. Then you got 130 after that, okay? Because you have 130.40, which is right here, and then that pushes us down to 130 again, okay? but I admit the dollar Canadian's holding up really, really well despite the weakness in crude. All right, let's take a look at the let's do the Kiwi. Sorry, let's do the Kiwi really quick. So I am not short the Kiwi anymore. I was actually just going to short it there at 97, but I decided against it. Um, this will be support, and if we can break 67.70, that's going to create much more selling. I mean, that if we break through 67.70, I think that takes us back to 67 cents, frankly. All right, let me remove that. I don't know if this channel really matters much right now. Obviously, this resistance is a big deal, even though we spiked up to 30, but the 68.20 is really big resistance. So I'm going to write down 68.30 because we spiked up there, but you can see that that yellow line is a pretty big deal. 68.30, okay? And we are, I'm going to put it in a range, although, you know, we broke below this trend line here, but you can see we're just really range bound, and it's, I thought breaking down through here was going to give us much more bearish follow through, and it just hasn't. It really hasn't, and it's been frustrating, you know, for those of us that have been trying to chip away, you know, shorting the Kiwi. It's just been very frustrating, you know. So, I mean, I was short yesterday at 67, 96, like right where we're at, or a little higher than where we're at, and I closed it this morning at 67.85 or 86. I made like 9 pips or something. I mean, it was just, it's been frustrating, you know. It's like I don't even want to touch it right now, so I won't. All right, so there's your bias chart for right now. When we come back, we'll do the Aussie, the dollar index, and all that, the Nordic currencies, the peso. So don't go anywhere. I'll be back in a few. Thanks. All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. Okay, let's do the Aussie. Let's get ready for the. We're going to try to bust all this out before we get to ADP non-farm, which is happening in just about 15 minutes. Okay, so here's the Aussie. We stalled at the 161% extension, and you know the thing about the Australian dollar, you know what worries me most about the Aussie? Let's take into account what happened this week. All right, so we had great GDP numbers. We had China manufacturing numbers, the official numbers that came in better than expected. Earlier this week, that was on Tuesday. Yesterday, we had trade balance that came in much better than expected. The retail sales was, you could arguably say it was in line, but the Aussie is just weak. The Aussie is really having a tough time, and I think it's severely disappointing for the bulls right now. Anybody who's bullish the Aussie dollar is probably extremely, you know, worried. And I know being long the Aussie New Zealand, it's not helping me at all. You know, I'm you know, really starting to question the Aussie as well. So, you know, the Aussie is just, it's having a very, very difficult time, and you know, the risk is that there are so many people that are trying to pick the bottom in the Aussie right now, and you know, they assume that the Aussie, you know, after, you know, having the steep fall the last couple of weeks, you know, we're done. The risk to the Aussie now is that we just break through these lows, and that comes in at 71.50. I'm going to write down it being really important support, and I don't think we're going to break it today, but you know, especially tomorrow, if we have a strong NFP, we could bust right through that 71.50, and it's going to be devastating for anybody who's bullish the Aussie dollar. Okay, all right. Now, resistance for the Aussie at this stage in the game is going to be, back up here. Well, it's 73 cents, but I don't even think we're going to get up there now. Um, I think you have to take that spike high on that 4-hour chart that comes in at 72.70. I think if we get up there, anybody will be happy that we got up there, right? And I'm gonna put that it's still bearish, because it's just failing to rally. Um, I think the Aussie just it looks bearish. All right, so here's the dollar. We talked a little bit about the dollar, and the dollar has, basically come back down to retest this trend line. Okay, this is the channel support. After breaking through this channel, we're basically retesting it. What that means is, as long as we're above 95 cents, and I'm going to grab this and put it right here. You can see that spike low here. Let me grab that there. Okay. While we're above this 95 cents, um, it's okay. The thing is if we break below 95, that is going to be extremely devastating for dollar bulls. I don't want to see that happen personally, being long the dollar Canadian and the U.S. dollar Norwegian krona, but I'm not ignoring the fact that if we break below there, dollar bulls are going to be very disappointed. All right, now rallies to this point. Let me undo that. 95.50. I know we're at 95.30, but 95.50 is resistance, and then obviously 96. So 95.50, 96. That would be key resistance right there. And we're in a range, but we're threatening to go bullish if we can break above this 96. I don't think that's going to happen today. Again, I think that you're going to have to see a move above there would follow a really strong NFP. All right, if we get that. All right, let's go over to the peso. Well, just hit new lows. Aussie hit new lows? Yeah, Aussie just hit new lows. Wow, Aussie, you are such a piece of garbage. Seriously. All right. Peso. So the peso, really look at how bullish this looks. I'm sorry. I look at the U.S. dollar Mexican peso, and I'm thinking about, you know what? I just bought some. And I'm going to buy a little bit more above 1860, whatever this is. 18. Look at how bullish this looks. I just bought a very little bit. If we get some risk aversion in the stock market, this thing's going to bust out. Plus crude, crude could really push it higher. And how many people, I'm going to ask you this, and you don't have to answer, but just think in your head, how many people are shorting the US dollar Mexican peso right now? How many people are buying pesos? I mean, after this stellar move, stellar bounce, you're at 161% extension of this. You're at a 618 here. You got this fib confluence. How many people are just laying into the peso, saying that's it, it's done? Remember, when we were down here, several months ago, several weeks ago, we were down here and I said, I can't wait for it to get to 1850 because I want to short it. Well, now that we're here, how many people are shorting it? The fact of the matter is it's not going down. And, so a breakout above 1860, I'm going to put 1862, that would be extremely bullish. And if crude comes under pressure, we are likely to break above that. Support right now is at 1838, and then you have 1830, but obviously 1830 as we've been writing that down, but 1838 now is is it, okay? And we are this is a very bullish move, and this is a bullish consolidation. Okay, it looks bullish, guys. It looks like we're going to make a run for 19. Oh, futures are pulling back right now. Ooh, futures are really pulling back right now. Crude looks like it's pulling back. Any comments? Saudi Wealth Fund, PIF said to weigh loan up to $3 billion for Uber. Oh, there's no way Uber is going to be able to pay back $3 billion. Sorry. No way. No way, Jose. Okay. There's the peso. Norwegian krona. We got to finish these really quick. I am long a little bit of US dollar Norwegian krona. Not much. 840 is still a big resistance. I picked it up yesterday at 830 or 832, 830, 830. 97, so 831 basically. Support 825, resistance 840. Remember, we still have this inverted head and shoulder pattern of points way the hell up here at 854. So, matter of fact, I need to make an adjustment here. Where did my US dollar Norwegian krona orders go? Did I cancel them? I must have canceled them. All right, I'll have to reestablish those here in a second. 825 to 840. US dollar, Norwegian krona, 8.25, 8.4000. Bullish US dollar, Swedish krona. 826 to 838, right? I do not own any of that. Wait, it was 827, 827, 838, 8.38. Okay. And I'm going to put that in a range because we are smack dab in the middle of this, big channel now again, right? Here, let's get rid of that for now. We don't need that yet. We're in this channel. We're right in the middle. We break out above 840 or 838. That's going to push us in a very bullish manner back up towards the upper end of this range, in my opinion. Okay, so we'll stay range bound for now. So your bias chart is done, people. Dollar yen's heavy. Look at the pound.